What's up, Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome in. First off, I want to say, I apologize, this is out later than usual. It took me longer than I had anticipated, so first off, welcome in to part 2 of my final mock draft. Part 1 already up. You can see the entire first round on the YouTube page already. This is part 2. I plan to do rounds 2 and 3. Before I get into it, little disclaimer, wanted to get this out sooner, but took me a lot longer than I anticipated to get everything ready for recording. Had a busy Thursday. I'm recording this literally a couple hours before we're live, so this will probably be live as we are live or be on the YouTube page as we're live. But hey, I wanted to get this out to you guys because I said I was going to do it and I wanted to do it. So in case you're wondering, did a first round yesterday. If you missed it, you can check it out on our YouTube page. I'll put a link in the description as well. And this is a continuation of that. Before we get into it, if you want to support us, check out our Patreon page. Link is down below. And also join our Discord, which is a great community. Everyone talking sports. There's probably going to be a lot of people talking in the NFL draft chat today. So you can go in there and talk to everyone in the MVP community. But this was a continuation of my first, and we're just going to get right into it and cut right into it. I like this because I have it set up. We'll still see on the side who was picked for each team, but we start on the board with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers at this point traded up for Jalen Carter, gave up some picks in order to do that. I have them sitting here and saying, hey, you know what? We got that D line. Let's hit a need here. Let's go with Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma. It's easy. Hit a need. You need a tackle. Keep it moving. Then I actually, here at number, this would be 33 because everything's mixed up with the vacant pick, but I have a trade here. And what I have is, never mind. I don't. I do have a trade. It's a different graphic. So the trade being, the Texans moved up for 31, 32 to take Hendon Hooker. Chiefs get this pick with this one right here. Regardless to say, I have them going with Jahmyr Gibbs. And the reason why, no real big reason than rumor biting. There's big rumors that the Chiefs are high on Gibbs. This is where he would probably go. I have the Chiefs grabbing him, even though me personally, I probably would have grabbed either an edge rusher. I would have either grabbed Jordan Addison if it was me. I would have grabbed Smith, maybe even reached for for an edge down here with the two edges down later. But rumors are they like Gibbs. I'm playing into it a little bit here, so that's why the Chiefs go with that. Then we have the Cardinals, and they're going to go ahead and stay at the pick. They're looking here. They're saying, hey, you know what? It's not a huge need, but we're looking to get rid of D-Hop. We'll need a replacement for him. I'm going straight BPA, Jordan Addison to the Cardinals, giving, at this point, you'd have Jordan Addison and Rondell Moore would be your guys going forward. Is it Moore or Bateman? I keep forgetting. I get those two mixed up in my head. So let me know down in the comment section if I'm a big dum-dum and just confused Rondell Moore and Bateman. I always mix those two up, the Purdue, Minnesota guys from that draft class. But regardless, they're going with Addison from the Cardinals. Then we have the Colts staying put. They are going to, offensive tackle and wide receiver are going to have to be emphasized here, especially after taking, like they did, Will Levis with the 4th overall pick in our first round of this mock. But I have them going cornerback. With how the board fell, if Addison was here, he probably would have been the pick. You could go with Jalen Hyatt. I personally like Hyatt, but I'm not letting my biasy come in here or my bias bleed in. I'm going to have them hit another need, cornerback position. Cam Smith is there. They're going to go with Smith out of South Carolina. Then you have the Rams, and the Rams, in some people's minds, might be doing a little bit of reaching here, as they're going to go all the way down, and I'm actually going to have them go with Keon White. I personally have him a little bit higher than, and I looked this up, over Eddie Barra. I have him a little higher. They're pretty much right there, kind of like where we've had, like, think of like Christian Gonzalez and Devin Witherspoon. To me, it's that razor thin. You could have one over the other, but they're right there at the same part on my big board. I got the Rams going with White, hitting that edge rush position. Then we have the Seahawks here, and they're actually going to, hey, one edge rusher went, we're going to take one. You see that they attacked quarterback with Anthony Richardson. They didn't take that edge rusher at 20. They went with Consi out of Pitt. Edge is a big need for them. They're going to have to also, like, if Addison was here, I would maybe flirt with Addison here if he's here. Jalen Hyatt, I kind of almost thought about it, but they're looking for a slot receiver. They're looking for their inside guy. Jalen Hyatt, to me, I think he could be a number one in this league, but yet again, I'm biased. I love Jalen Hyatt. So I didn't have the Seahawks go that route. They'll get a wide receiver later, or look to get one later. I have them maybe reaching, but hey, they're going to go for an edge rusher, as well as they are going to take Adetomiwa Adibara out of our Adibar if I'm doing the pronunciation right. I'm trying to get these names right for you guys because it's a big thing for me. I'm usually not good with names, but pronunciations, but I'm trying for you guys. But yeah, Seahawks go with edge rushing. They get that need. I feel like within the first two of the first three picks for the Seahawks, one has to be a D lineman, one has to be an edge. We'll see if they, like, to me, Jalen Carter and then an edge at 20 would have been ideal, but rumors are they could be going Anthony Richardson with that top 10 pick that they have. Then you have the Raiders here. They are going to attack the D line. They went with cornerback, could have went with Jalen Carter. They didn't. They're going to go with Mozzie Smith, D lineman out of Michigan. BPA fits a need for them. A lot of this is going to be, hey, BPA fitting a need. Some of these may be reaches. As you get out of the first round, you can kind of target those needs a little bit and maybe reach a little bit on potential rather than who is right there on the board. Then we have the Giants here. And the reason why we have the Giants is I have my first big trade of the second round. I teased it because I accidentally hit the graphic earlier, but now you guys get to see it. I will say one thing that I noticed with some of my notes, some of the pick numbers might be off, but what round they're in, that is true. So I wanted to have that disclaimer here. But basically we have the Giants moving up in the second round. They're going to move up to this 39th pick, and they are going to give up their second round pick, their third round pick, and their fifth round pick in order to do so. And the guy that I have them moving up for is none other than that wide receiver I talked about, and that's Jalen Hyatt. Because to me, I think I was looking at the Giants, and I'm like, the Giants and the Chargers were two teams that I'm like, they should probably move up day two in order to get a wide receiver. And I looked at the Giants. I know they have already kind of a, like, they have bodies in that wide receiver room, but to me, they're still looking for that number one. I think Jalen Hyatt could be that deep threat, that number one guy for Danny Dimes. And I'd go ahead and say, hey, you know what? Danny Dimes, we helped you. Let me just go over to the Giants really quick so you can see the two picks. Yeah, you're giving up your third rounder, you're giving up a fifth rounder to move up, but right here, unless you make more, and I know that my mock draft, it only shows rounds 1, 2, and 3 because that's all I'm doing. They can tackle other picks later on. I feel like those first two, hey, Danny Dimes, we gave you the contract. We're going to go all in on you. We're giving you someone to help you. To protect you. We're giving you someone to throw the ball to. We are going all in on you because we gave you that contract that many people thought you shouldn't have gotten. So kind of my thought process there with the New Orleans Saints. Then with the Giants, then we have the Saints who are up next, and I have them yet again. Maybe it's a little bit of a reach, but I look and it's like, okay, D-line is a huge need for them. They should probably try to tackle D-line and edge just like the Seahawks did, boom, boom. But like, I look at the D-line that's available, like there's nobody in this range. So either you're trading back, which right now I didn't have a trade partner for them, or I'm looking at it and going, okay, what do we need? And I kind of looked at it and I go, all right, we need it. Like, we had Olave last year who did really well for us. Let's go ahead. Let's get another young guy to build this wide receiver core back up. Michael Thomas is always injured. You need weapons in that arsenal for your basic quarterback to go ahead and sling it. Josh Downs, he's the pick. Like, top wide receiver, that's who I'm going with. Might be a little bit of a reach, but I'd rather reach for Downs here than go and say, hey, I'm going to reach for one of those D linemen and hopefully get one later on in the draft. Then the Titans here, you got CJ Stroud. You traded up for him. The Cardinals will have your third round pick. So really, you're just sitting here with the second. And I'm looking at this going, hey, you need a tight end. There is a tight end for you here. Darnell Washington, this is one that ticket should be run up to the podium as quick as possible because that is a need for them. That is a BPA. It just fits too perfectly here. Washington just kind of falls right into the laps of Tennessee. So that's why I would take him here with the pick. Then you have the Packers, and I kind of have the Packers going same-minded where they need weapons. Like, okay, we got rid of Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love's our guy. Like, the Packers, to me, I wonder, like, with them, they never helped Aaron Rodgers by drafting him wide receivers in the first two rounds. I wonder if there'll be, like, kind of a change of, like, oh, let's get it, Aaron. Let's get Jordan Love some help right away. I think they should do that anyways, but hey, maybe they're going to play some mind games. I have them looking at it and going, hey, we want wide receiver in the first. We're going to go with tight end in the second. Might be a little bit of reach for some, but Luke Musgrave, big old target for him. Hey, you know what? Let's get him a tight end. We direly need one. Let's go ahead and tack that. They either need to get, I think wide receiver, tight end should be the first two picks for the Packers, but it's just which way you're going to do it. I think this way was the best, hitting wide receiver in the first, tight end in the second round. Then you have the Jets. I have them basically saying, hey, you know what, Aaron? We are going to help you out. We got Broderick Jones to give you protection. We're just going to give you more protection, big guy. And the guy I have them going with is John Michael Schmitz out of Minnesota. You get that interior. You had the outerior. You get the interior. You're just giving Aaron Rodgers more reasons to be happy being a Jets, Jets. You do it. You move on. You don't even think about it. Then we have the Falcons, and yet again, let's get more defense. You got the edge rusher at 8. I'm gonna go ahead here. I'm gonna take Kaylee Ringo, guy who was a first rounder way early in the process, kind of fell, has solidified into the second round spot. I think he would be a great pick for the Falcons here in the second round, kind of building up that defense a little bit for the Falcons. Then you go ahead and you have the Packers here. Also with the Falcons, I do want to note, I looked at my notes. Another reason why I'm going Ringo here is, yes, you traded for Okudah, but there's no guarantee that he's going to pan out. He didn't pan out in Detroit, so why would you guarantee him panning out for you? So you have that kind of insurance of like, okay, if Okudah doesn't pan out, we got Ringo, and hopefully one of them will be a future guy for us. Then we've got the Packers. Yet again, this is one where it's like, okay, we've tackled the offense here. Let's go ahead and now get some defensive help. And if you're going straight BPA, linebacker would be it. But yet again, to me, linebacker isn't the big need. It's edge rushing. And for me, the mock draft database simulator, their big board's different than my big board. I have BJ Ojulari above Felix, and that's who I have them going with. BJ Ojulari, the edge rusher out of LSU. Packers just keeping the pick, keeping it simple. Hey, we're going defense. We need an edge rusher. There's one there. Boom, let's take them. Let's move on. Easy pick for the Green Bay Packers to make. Then you have the Patriots, and this was one that I looked at, and I'm like, okay, one position they're going to need to tackle is they're going to need to get Mac Jones some wide receiver help. But I look at this and I go, I ain't reaching for any of these guys up here at 46. I'm just not doing it. Right now, taking a wide receiver at 46 would be a reach for the Patriots. The other thing I looked at was like, okay, cornerback. You could go DJ Turner. That would be a good pick. He's right there. I also looked at D-line. Where is it? And I said, okay, it's still a reach, but, probably wouldn't go there. And then I thought to myself, who did you take in the first round? You took Peter Skoronsky. Some people think he'll play O-tackle. There's a lot of people that think he'll bounce in. And I actually have a quote. Peter Skoronsky was asked about this, and he said, the first thing I'd say is, I think I can play tackle. Obviously, some people think that I'm ruled out of playing tackle because of certain measurements. But more than anything, I'll play anywhere. I'll play anywhere. I'll play center, guard, tackle, or whatever. I think I'll just do whatever I can for the team, which to me made me grateful that I gave him to the Patriots because he would be a Patriot guy. But I'm sitting there going, all right, if you'll play anything, I don't have to solidify you at offensive tackle. DeJuan Jones is there. Let me double up on some O-line, baby. Let me get some O-line. You got Skoronsky that'll play wherever you need him. You can take Jones to play a tackle position. Boom. That's a good pick. You're giving Mac Jones some protection. Let's set him up for success. Take the pick, move it on. So the Skoronsky versatility makes that pick to where it's like, oh, thank God I didn't have to reach for that pick. Then you have I have the Bills here at 47 because I have another trade, and that trade is with the Washington Commanders. Have the Bills moving up here to 47. They're going to give the Commanders their second and their third round picks. Just give them both away. And there's a distinct reason that I have the Bills doing this, because the one position, you see it right there at the top that has kind of been untouched, is the linebacker position. Drew Sanders is there. Jack Campbell is there. Trenton Simpson is there. Trenton Simpson used to be a first-round graded talent. Now he's kind of in the second. They have a plethora of linebacking talent, and I kind of think that the Lions are the pick that they would try to have to jump above, because the Lions could go with one of those guys as well. And I look at this and I go, Buffalo, hey, we'll give up our second. We'll give up our third. Let's go ahead, get the guy, the best. Some people say the best linebacker in the class, Drew Sanders. You trade up for that. You lost Tremaine Edmonds. You got to fill that hole. You need a middle linebacker. He is the middle linebacker of this class. So Drew Sanders, I think you trade up for him, you get him, and you keep moving if you are Buffalo. So that's why I have them making the trade here with the Commanders. Then the Lions, I have them just, you know what, BPA adds some depth. Linebacking depth is going to be something that they're going to have to maybe tackle in the draft. I got them going with Jack Campbell out of Iowa to add that depth. Then the Steelers, they went defense, they went offense. Cornerback is another need. It is arguably their top need that they need in this draft. How many times can I say need? It's kind of like the dead lasso. Need. You say a word so much, it kind of loses its meaning. Yeah, but cornerback. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers going cornerback here. Personally, to me, I think like DJ Turner, more of a nickel to me than an actual. That's why I'm going with Julius Brents here out of Kansas State. Pittsburgh hits that cornerback need right away here in the second round. Then you have the Bucks. I think they just have to, they cannot care. Like I look at this and I go, okay, DJ Turner, Clark Phillips, both of those guys are seen as nickel corners. I don't think the Bucks care about that. You just need a corner. After Murphy Bunting left, you need a corner to come in and just fill in some spots. And I'm going to have them go with DJ Turner out of Michigan. Hey, take the top corner, move on. We hit that need. We keep moving. Then I have the Browns at 60. What would this be? Not 64, at 51. And I believe this is another trade. It is. It is a trade. See, some of these, I put the trades, put the trades in. I got to remember where they are. This one is the Browns are going to move up in the second round to 51. They're also going to gain a 6th round pick, and they are going to give up 2/3 and 2/5. So they're giving up 2/3, they're giving up 2/5, they're gaining a 6th, and they're moving up into the second round. Without this, like, here's the big debate for the Browns and why I did this. I rather move up, get a guy in the second than keep my 2 third-rounders and get 2 guys in the third round. If there's a guy in the second round that I like, I'm going to go ahead and get up and get him. And kind of how everything has happened since the Bills pick, you had 2 linebackers go off the board early. I look at this and it's like, okay, if I'm the Browns, hey, I need defense. I need especially some linebackers to play and add more of those. Trenton Simpson, he's a guy that has had first round grades throughout this draft process. I'll give up I'll give up the 2/3 to move up. I'll give up the 2/5 to move back. And I'll take Trenton Simpson here out of Clemson with my 2nd overall pick. Yeah, now I won't have a pick until later on. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head if the Browns have a 4th round pick, but I'm giving up my 3rd round picks in order to make this pick here. And I think that's what the Browns should do if they can make that deal with the Miami Dolphins. Then I have the Seahawks here. They are going to go ahead and go O-line, and they're going to go with Steve Avila out of TCU. Kind of hit that O-line need that they have. Wide receiver, they could, but to me, it's like, okay, I'd rather have that that guard or that tackle depth instead of hitting the wide receiver at this point. Then you have the Bears. The Bears are here via the Ravens with the, I think this was the Roquan Smith trade? Is this the Roquan trade? It's defensive trade that they made with the Ravens. And you look at the Bears, they didn't go edge rusher at 17. They went with tackle. They need an edge rusher. Right there at the top of the board is Ozuma Felix out of Kansas State. I have them saying, hey, he fell perfectly to us. We're going to take BPA. It fits our biggest need, which is edge. Bears top 2 picks, I think you're happy. You've made a trade to get more picks. You hit tackle, you hit edge early on. Bears fans, I think you're ecstatic if these first 2 picks happen for you guys. Then I have the Chargers at 57. Originally, I was going to have them move up, decided they weren't going to move up, and with this pick, I have to double check. Yep, not a trade for them. This is their actual pick. I'm going to have them actually, whether you think it's a reach or not, I have them going with Cedric Tillman. They need to add wide receiver help. They need weapons for Air Bear. They hit tight end early, hit wide receiver here. Give Air Bear weapons. Yeah, I know you brought back your top 3 wide receivers, but give your quarterback weapons. Give him weapons to throw the ball to, especially someone who can maybe take the top off the defense a little bit. We'll see if Tillman can do that. Then you have the Lions via the Vikings. I believe this was the TJ Hockenson trade. I have them. They've tackled defense with their first 3 picks. I have them now attacking the offense. I'm trying to find where he is. They don't have him. Oh, do they not have the guy I'm taking, or do they have him listed as dad? They have him listed as a guard. So Cody Mauch out of North Dakota State. Some have him as a tackle. Some have him as an interior lineman. They're going to take an O lineman here to kind of give Jared Goff some protection. Then I believe this is another trade, and it is. I have my 4th trade of the second round. I have the Chiefs moving up to 50, 56? I have to make sure that those are right. 56, they're going to give up their 2nd rounder, a 5th rounder, and then also a 4th rounder next year in order to move up in the 2nd round to have this pick with the Jaguars. Jaguars are going to add some draft capitals. They are a team that is also still building. And I have, pardon me, I have the Chiefs going with Isaiah Foskey here, where it's like they need edge rushing. They didn't do that. I probably would have had them do it earlier on, but like I said, the Gibbs rumor, I kind of bid in on that for the first, second round pick that they had. They're like one they traded with the Texans in order to move back out of the first. But yeah, they get Foskey here, another guy who's had first round grades during the process. You get him in the second. I like this pick. If you're the Chiefs, you can move up, and they don't need the draft capital. They can trade that away to move up, take him here late in the second round. Then you have the Panthers. This is yet again going to put it up there again. The reason why they're picking here is this is that giant pick, the 57th overall pick that the Giants had. That's why the Panthers are here. I'm going to have them. They just don't need a corner. They need a nickel corner. Reason why they made this trade is I was expecting this guy to be here. Clark Phillips III out of Utah. He's the one that they take with the 57th overall pick. Then you have the Cowboys, and I have them adding D-line depth as they're going to go with Keanu Benton out of Wisconsin. So they're going to take Benton, add that D-line help, as the Cowboys need a big body on the inside. And Benton is a big boy who can kind of add some meat to that D-line in Dallas. Then you have the Commanders yet again. They have this pick because this was the Bills pick, got sent to them when the Bills moved up in the second round. I have them. They're another team kind of like the Titans. They need a tight end weapon. Like when you look at offense, they got the running back. They got their wide receivers set. They kind of need a tight end that can do something for them. That's where I've got Sam Laporta out of Iowa being the guy for them this late. Hey, we can move back, get that need, and get an extra draft pick. Kind of a little bit of reasoning why they made that trade. Then I have my last trade of the second round here. Let me see if I got the right one, and I do. The Bengals are not going to be picking here. The Denver Broncos are. Broncos are going to move up to 60th. They're going to give away their third round pick, 67. Well, I believe it's 67. They're going to give away one of their third rounders. They're going to trade away a sixth round pick next year. And they're going to go ahead and move up here to number 60. Reason why they are moving up is edge rushers have kind of been going off the board. Pardon me. Edge rushers have been going off the board. Derek Hall is here. They got to make sure they get one of those guys. And hey, because there was a run on those guys, I ain't going to wait anymore to see if he falls to us. I'm going to take Derek Hall here with the 60th overall pick. Then we have the Bears here via the 49ers. They're going to go, hey, we went tackle in the first. We're just going to give Justin Fields more offensive line help. I have them going with Joe Tittman, inside lineman out of Wisconsin. Then the Eagles at, what would this be? 62, 63, 62. They're going to go, they went corner, they went edge. They're going to go ahead and say, hey, you know what? Like, I'll say Zach Charbonnet here would be a very interesting pick. And I almost pushed that button. I almost said, oh, Zach Charbonnet here would be the pick. He would be the guy that you use to fill that, what was it, Miles Sanders hole, I think it is. But I didn't. And the reason why is I could the big reason why is you look at running back and it's like I could take Charbonnet. And I love Charbonnet. But I also like Spears. I also like Octane, also Devon out of Devon out of Texas A&M. Like even later, like you look at this, and I know I only did a 3-round mock here, but I like Chase Brown. I like Sean Tucker. I like Zach Evans. I like Keandre Miller. I like these backs later on. Like even Muhammad Ibrahim. Like, okay, are all these guys going to pan out and be NFL superstars? No. But I feel like these guys in this running back class, they have potential. Like, you got the guys at the top. Guys at the bottom here, Zach Evans I like, Brown I like, Tucker played well. You have McIntosh played well. Ibrahim, like I said, Chris Rodriguez Jr. for Kentucky played well. There are guys here to where it's like, hey, if they can fit the role that you need them to play, you can go ahead and use them. I just didn't have the Eagles doing it because of those guys. Instead, I'm like, okay, let me look at the safeties. Antonio Johnson is there. You need safety more than you need running back to me. I'm going to go with Antonio Johnson out of Texas A&M, and I'll tackle the running back later if I am the Eagles. And then rounding out the first round or the second round, we have Jacksonville. The trade was, here it is. I'm just putting the trade up while they're here at the Chiefs pick. And there's part of me that goes, okay, Banks probably should have been the pick earlier on. Like, I look at tight ends here and it's like, could have taken Kraft or Schoonmaker here. So that's the thing about a draft. You kind of rethink, like, okay, maybe did I make the wrong pick earlier on? But Kincaid is a good pick. I just looked at corner. Tyreek Stevenson's there. I'm going to take Tyreek Stevenson and kind of end the second round with that. All right, moving on into the third round. Sorry for the jump cut there. I wanted to make sure that my trade graphics for the third round were set up before I moved on into round numero tres. But starting it all off, we have the Bears. They've hit offensive line twice. They've hit edge rusher. I look here and it's like, okay, if you're going BPA, you could go with Zach Charbonnet, and I feel like that would be a greedy pick to fill the David Montgomery hole. However, I look at this pick needs to be a weapon for Justin Fields. You've gone and hit the defense. You've given Justin Fields protection. You now at this pick need to give him somebody to either throw the ball to or somebody out of the backfield. I didn't go the backfield route. I went the wide receiver route. And the guy I went with, personally, I have him higher than the wide receiver list here. My wide receiver rankings are way different than this. I went with Jonathan Mingo. I love what Mingo can do. I think he would be a great target for Justin Fields. That's why I had the Bears take to start off the third round. Then you have the Texans. And the Texans, they're another team. They got they haven't had a pick since the first round because they moved in to get that last first round pick. They've gone with defense. They've gotten a quarterback. They've gone and said, hey, we're going to protect that quarterback. Let me give the future quarterback that I drafted a weapon to throw to when he plays. And yet again, this is where kind of I think the run of wide receivers comes late in the day for day two. And I had them going with my second wide receiver behind Mingo, and that would have been Tyler Scott out of Cincinnati. So 2 wide receivers, boom, boom, off the board early. Then the Cardinals come up, and I look at this and I go, like, there's a guy there that is versatile, and that's Tuli Tuipulotu out of USC. Reason why I had that, some may say Ricky plays the edge. He's a guy that in the 3-4 he plays the edge, in the 4-3 he plays the inside line. The Cardinals without Kingsbury, I'm not quite sure. Cardinal fans, maybe you guys know better than me exactly what their scheme is going to be. But no matter what it is, like if they play a 4-3, boom, they need inside help. They went with edge early. If they go ahead and go with a 3-4, all right, he plays the outside tackle, not the nose tackle. So he's a guy that has versatility that can fit in regardless of what scheme you're going to play on defense. That's why I like him, especially with your first round pick of Nolan Smith that you made. Then the Bengals here, this is one where I feel like, the Bengals made this trade with the Broncos because they're like, we can still get this guy here. Zach Charbonnet is the pick here. And the reason why is Samaje Perine is gone. You need a backup to Mixon. In this league, you need 2 running backs. You need a bell cow and you need a guy to come in, change some pace. Charbonnet can be that guy, but also Joe Mixon, I almost said Mix again. Joe Mixon, he's a guy that is going to be up at the end of the year. Is he going to take a pay cut to stay in Cincy? If he doesn't, you don't have to worry because Zach Charbonnet could be the guy that becomes your first bell cow and becomes your RB1 on the depth chart. I think this is a great pick for the Bengals here in the third round. Then you have the Broncos. They went with edge, traded up. They're going to go ahead, go Matthew Bergeron, get that tackle, say, hey, we're just going to take that need. He's BPA off the board in most cases. Then the Rams come along. You've got Tyler Higbee. His contract situation is a big old question mark after this season. Let's go ahead and take Tucker Kraft out of South Dakota State, just in case, plus give a weapon for our offense to use because we're going to need weapons to throw to. Then you have the Raiders. They've gone defense. I have them going defense yet again. Maybe this is one where it's like, hey, Ricky, maybe they should have reached for a tackle. They probably would have taken a tackle if one was available at the top of the board. But I have them saying, hey, you know what? We're not going to reach for it. We're going to go right here. We're going to go Deion Henley, linebacker out of Washington State. We're going to basically, they need linebackers for depth here. And for me, that's BPA on my list. Then you have the Saints. They went edge in the first. They went wide receiver in the second and the third. What are they going to do? Hey, we're gonna take Ika out of Baylor. We're gonna go ahead. D-line is still a need. We need D-line. We need edge. We hit the edge. Let's take the D-line here. And I think those are a perfect 3 picks for the Saints: edge, wide receiver, and D-line. If you're a Saints fan, you might not like maybe, I wouldn't have went Downs, I would have went this. But the positions, you gotta love the 3 that you get with your first 3 picks in the draft. Then you have the Cardinals. This one comes into play because of the Titans trade. This was the Titans moved up for CJ Stroud, gave the Cardinals this pick in that deal of our mock for the first part in the first round. I have the Cardinals here. Cornerback is a top 3 need for them. Budda Baker requested a trade. Are they going to do that? Is he going to get the contract extension, or will he leave? Will he be traded? So to me, I look at cornerbacks and I go with Darius Rush. I go, hey, I need to take a cornerback within the first 3 rounds because of what is going on with Budda Baker and my cornerback kind of depth. Then we get to here. This is our first trade. And the one thing I will say, first trade of the 3rd round, a lot of people do not like it when interdivisional teams trade. I've learned that from the comment section. However, I think 3rd round picks, not taken as seriously as 1st round picks, got the Colts moving up a little bit. Oh, this is it. This is the graphic that I messed up. So take the picks, flip it. So in this case, the Colts would be receiving the 73rd overall and a 7th round pick. The Titans would be the Texans would be receiving the 85th and a future 3rd. So yeah, this is the one graphic that I messed up. I just needed to flip them. So instead of replace that with give up. The Colts are giving up the 85th and a future 3rd in order to move up to 73rd and get a 7th on top of that. I knew there was some graphics that I messed up. I could never have a perfect video. But the Colts here, they move up because they got quarterback. They went with cornerback. Here it's like, okay, offensive tackle is something they're going to need to hit, but to me it's not a biggest need. I'm going ahead and saying, hey, I need weapons for Will Levis to throw to. We've got wide receivers, but I need more. I'm going to go with Marvis Mims here out of Oklahoma. Then at 79, this is our, not 79, 74. This is a Dolphin pick. Used to be the Browns. Browns traded up, so the Dolphins get it here. And the Dolphins are going to go running back. They're going to go Devon Achane out of Texas A&M. They're just going to go with one of their needs and move right along, as Dolphins will need running back depth because of their future contracts. Then you have the Falcons here. They went edge. They went cornerback. I think defensive backs in general is a big need for them. And I think there are two safeties here that, to me, I have the Illinois boys, obviously, over Jordan Battle, and I have Sidney Brown over Martin. So I'm taking Sidney Brown here if I am the Falcons. Then the Patriots, they are sitting here because it's not a trade that I made. That's a trade that they made. Just wanted to make sure that I have my graphics in order. Patriots here, they've taken O-line help. They've gotten a versatile guard, tackle, or center. They've taken an offensive tackle. We've given Mac Jones the protection. Let's give him the targets to throw to. Nathaniel Dell out of Houston, welcome to the New England Patriots. You are now the red, blue, and silver on your uniform. Then we have the Bengals. This was a trade with the Rams, I believe. Yes, it was. This was our second trade. As with this pick, the Bengals will receive the 77th overall, which is a third-round pick. They're going to give up the 99th, give up a future third to move up in the third round, and they are going to take the BPA safety. They're going to take Jartavius Martin from Illinois. Both Illinois boys go off the board here as the Bengals move up for that. Then the Packers, they've gone with wide receiver. They went with tight end. They went with edge. I'm going to have them go with Dexter out of Florida. Hit that D-line depth. Go ahead. Keep that moving. All right, then we got the Texans here. Yet again, it just happened, but I'll put it up again. Texans-Colts trade. That's why they are here at 79 in the draft. And I've got the Texans. They went with some O-line, quarterback, wide receiver, edge. I got them just going with some more O-line, going with Widmer out of Ohio State. Then the 49ers. This is, I think, their first pick of our mock, and I have them going with, some people think it's a big need, some don't. I have them going with safety, Jordan Battle. To me, BPA off the board. I'm going to go with Jordan Battle, safety out of Alabama. Then the Ravens. This is one where this is never mind. The Niners, I have to say this, I forgot. The reason why the Niners were there were they traded up. They received the 80th overall pick from the Steelers. Steelers received a third-round pick, a sixth-round pick, and will move back. So the reason why the Niners were there for Battle, they traded up, giving up a third and a sixth to move up in the third round. Then we have the Ravens, which this, I believe, might be my last trade. I think this is my last one of the third round, is we have the Lions and the Ravens making a trade. The Ravens are going to move up to 81. They're going to give up the 86th, so they'll trade second rounders. Lions will get a future fourth out of this deal. And the reason why the Ravens are moving up is they need a wide receiver. Before I did this was before the Lamar Jackson signing. I'm recording this after it, so he's got his extension. Let's go ahead and get him a weapon. This might not be the only wide receiver that they take. I have them going with Rice out of SMU. Then you have the Bucks. They've gone defense. Defense, I think they need to go offense here. Offensive tackle is a huge need for them. Maybe a reach to some, but I'm going to go with Duncan out of Maryland. They need to go tackle within the first three rounds. Might be a reach, but you have to do it. Maybe you find a trade partner to move back. Then the Seahawks. This is that prime position. They've hit their defensive line needs. They hit their edge need. They've gone after the quarterback that they think is going to be the quarterback of the future. I'm going ahead here. I'm going wide receiver, and the guy that I'm going with is my BPA, which would be Jaden Reed, to hopefully be that number 3 wide receiver behind DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Then you have the Dolphins here. To me, they're going to go with they need O-line help. They're going to go with an O-lineman, yet again. Might be a reach to some, but I'm going to go with Tyler Steen, offensive tackle out of Alabama. Then you have the Chargers. They've gone wide receiver. They've gone tight end. I have them now adding some defensive edge depth. Like, their defensive edges are great, but if Bose is injured, that doesn't help you. You need a guy to step in if he gets injured, and just depth behind those two. I'm going to go Zach Harrison out of the Ohio State University. Then we're going with the Lions. They got this deal with the Ravens in my trade with the Ravens when the Lions moved back again. I have them tackling the running back position because, yes, they've added David Montgomery. He's the only one that's booked long term. You're going to need someone. I like Spears here for Detroit in the third. Then the Vikings. This is their first pick since the first round because of the Hawkinson deal. I think you got to go defense at some point, but like, what do you do? Like, linebacker, like if you're going BPA, just take the linebacker. You could go edge, but for me, like corner edge, I'm actually going D line. And for me, it's Zach Pickens out of South Carolina is where I am going. To me, just take the BPA, and with my personal big board, Pickens was that guy. Then you have the Jaguars here in the third. They're going to go safety, and I have them going Jair Brown, the safety out of Penn State, here in the third. Then the Panthers, they're going to tackle defense again. They got their quarterback. They got a nickel corner. Now they are going to basically, like, Shaq Thompson taking a pay cut helped. It didn't make this a top need for them, but they will still need to address the linebacker position. I got Henry Toto as the guy here, linebacker out of Alabama. Then the Lions again. You traded TJ Hawkinson. You do have to fill that void, sadly enough. So I'm going to go ahead and take Luke Schoonmaker out of Michigan to be the guy for the Lions. Then you have the Commanders here. Yet again, these ones down low, it's more of like hit needs moving on. So there's not big kind of explanations with some of these that I apologize with. You have the Commanders. Commanders are going to go and tackle. They, like, in the first round, it was like, tackle cornerback. Well, one of the tight ends was there, so they didn't take tackle in the second. You're going to need to address that tackle position. I'm going with Blake Freeland, the BYU tackle, in the third round. Then I have the Rams here. This was the trade that I believe they did with the Bengals, and they are going to attack. They went edge, they went tight end. We're going back to the defense. They need a cornerback because after trading Ramsey, you're going to have to draft some cornerbacks. I have them going Riley Moss, cornerback out of Iowa. Then after the Rams, the Panthers. This is via the 49ers. I have them, so you have to give, like, you got your quarterback. We got to give them weapons to throw to because you traded DJ Moore. I don't think A.T. Perry is going to be DJ Moore, but let's give him a weapon to throw to. A.T. Perry out of Wake Forest is the guy for the Panthers. Then the Eagles. Pardon me, I had to cough again. The Eagles here, yet again. That 62nd overall pick was interesting. Like, you could have went running back. And, like, looking back at that, because that's something that I just thought about while running through this. Here's the running backs on the board, no matter where you have them, what order. Really would have been a reach with a lot of them. Well, maybe, like, depending on how high you have Johnson and Bigsby. I don't have them super high. Like, 87 for Bigsby to me is a little too high. Look at safeties. Maybe you could say, okay, you could have went with Charbonnet. You could have gotten Skinner here. Maybe one of the other safeties would have fell because you would have opened a spot. I will say, if you're one that's saying, Ricky, that 62nd overall pick should have been Charbonnet, I totally agree with you. Maybe it should have, but I went Antonio Johnson because I think that D-back is a bigger need, especially safety for the Eagles. Here I have them going with inside D-line help. This is what they direly need. Is that even a word? Direly need? The guy I'm looking for, what do they have him? He's a D lineman. What are we doing here? Oh, here we go. They have him listed as a linebacker. Could play linebacker, also D-line. Depends on your scheme. Nick Herbig out of Wisconsin. That's the guy I have for the Eagles. Like I have here in my notes, Eagles need inside and outside D-line. This guy could fit into either. Then you have the Chiefs. They've gone with edge. They've hit a running back. I think they got to address the offensive tackle and more so a right tackle. They're going to go ahead and take Nick Saldiverde out of Old Dominion. He is actually a right tackle, so you kind of get him in the perfect spot if you're the Chiefs. Then the Cardinals, I have them going with inside line help. They've kind of hit everything but the offensive line. I got Chandler Zavala out of NC State being the guy for them. Then the Commanders, I have them hitting the edge position. I'm going to have them go with Andre Carter out of Army. Then we have the Dolphins. They got this via the Browns from our trade earlier on. I'm going to have them hit. They got to replace Mike Gesicki as he is now in New England. I have them going with Brenton Strange, the tight end out of Penn State. Then we have the Steelers. This is via the 49ers with our trade where the 49ers moved up. I have the Steelers going with the linebacking position. They're going to go ahead and take Noah Sewell out of Oregon. Brother Penei Sewell, I believe, playing in the NFL. Then we have the Raiders. This is a trade from a trade they made with the Chiefs. They're going to go offensive tackle, give Jimmy Garoppolo some help as they're going to go Morris out of Oklahoma. Then we have the last two picks, 49ers. I basically have them doubling up on the same position. They're going to double up on corner. They're going to go with Corey Trice. They're going to go with Garrett Williams. And they're going to be happy after that. You know what? I didn't have this pick down. I guess they added the third round because you got to keep it clean. But for the Bears here, let's see. The Bears have gone tackle. They've gone edge. Inside, outside. What's BPA looking like? You know what? You know what? Because you lost David Montgomery, man, because you lost it, I'm going to go with Tank Bigsby. Didn't expect that pick to happen, but that's going to be the one that we solidify on. So the one thing that I will say is do not have a rundown sheet. That was the one thing that I was not able to get done. So very quickly, I'll kind of go through what each team gets. So in these first three, you've got the Arizona Cardinals. They get Nolan Smith, Jordan Addison, Tuli Tuipulotu, Darius Rush, Chandler Zavala. Then you have the Falcons. They get Tyree Wilson, Kaylee Ringo, Sidney Brown. You got the Ravens, Brian Breeze, Rasheen Rice. Then you've got the Bills, Zay Flowers, Drew Sanders. The Panthers, they get Bryce Young, Clark Phillips III, Henry To'oTo'o, A.T. Perry. The Bears, they get Darnell Wright. They get Felix Azukade. I had it written down. I closed my laptop. Ozuma, edge rusher out of Kansas State. They get Joe Tippmann, Jonathan Mingo, Tank Bigsby in the third round. Bengals, they get Deonta Banks, Zach Charbonnet, Jartavius Martin. Then you got the Browns. They trade their 2 third-round picks to move up for Trenton Simpson out of Clemson. Cowboys, they get Bijan Robinson and Keanu Brenton. Broncos, they get Derek Hall and Matthew Bergeron. Lions get Devon Witherspoon, Miles Murphy, Jack Campbell, Cody Mush, Tyjae Spears, Luke Schumacher. Feel like the pressure's on for me to pronounce names right, especially after all the comments I get of how bad I am with names. Packers, they get Jackson Smith in Jigba, Luke Musgrave, BJ Ojolari, Jervon Dexter. The Texans get Will Anderson, Paris Johnson, couple of juniors early on, Hendon Hooker, Tyler Scott, Luke Whippler in their draft. The Colts get Will Levis, Cam Smith, and Marvis Mims. Jacksonville Jaguars get Dalton Kincaid, Tyreek Stevenson, Jair Brown. Chiefs get Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Foskey, Nick Saldiveri. The Raiders get Christian Gonzalez, Mozzie Smith, Dion Henley, Wanya Morris. Chargers get Michael Mayer, Cedric Tillman, Zach Harrison. Rams get Keon White, Tucker Kraft, Riley Moss. Dolphins get Devin Akane, Tyler Steen, Brenton Strange. Vikings get Quentin Johnson and Zach Pickens. Patriots get Peter Sharonsky, DeJuan Jones, and Nathaniel Dell. Saints get Will Donald IV, Josh Downs, and then Siki Ika. Jets get Broderick Jones, John Michael Schmitz. The Giants get Osiris Torrance and Jalen Hyatt. Eagles get Lucas Van Ness, Emmanuel Forbes, Antonio Johnson, and Nick Herbig. Steelers get Jalen Carter, Anton Harrison, Julius Brents, and Noah Sewell. Then you have the 49ers get Jordan Battle, Corey Trice, and Garrett Williams, getting that defensive backs with all their picks in the second and third. Then you have the Seahawks, Anthony Richardson, Kalijah Kancey. They get edge rusher out of Northwestern. With my laptop closed, I'm not even going to try to butcher his name. I have too much respect for him. Steve Avila, Jaden Reed. Then you have the Buccaneers, Brian Branch, DJ Turner, Jalen Duncan. Titans going with CJ Stroud and Darnell Washington. Commanders go Joey Porter Jr., Sam Laporta, Blake Freeland, and Andre Carter II. And that rounds up all the teams that we have. That is going to do it. Like I said, this is probably going to be out as we are going live, maybe. So I hope you guys check it out. I hope you guys enjoy our live stream. If you're clicked on this, pause it, put it in your watch later. We're probably live right now, so go to the YouTube channel and check that out. Remember, if you want to support the channel, go ahead and click that Patreon link down below or become a channel member today. You can become a basic or a plus member, kind of have two ways for you to support us if you choose to. If you want to join the Discord, that is free down below. It's for all the real MVPs to talk with each other as well as us about sports topics each and every day. Let me know what you guys think down below. And as always, have a good day, everybody. As always, we'd like to thank our patrons whose names you see on the screen. If you would like to support us, go ahead and click the Patreon logo in the bottom right. And if you would like to check out our latest episode of The Draft Room, you can go ahead and click that in the upper left. Again, thanks for watching.